Okay, so the last thing we need to do with our projection data is to calculate the new correlation with the old data from Gapminder and adding on the new data which is our predictions. So we are going to make a correlation chart just like this one. So you need to be on your global correlation tab, which is the sheet where you compared your population baseline, whether it's fertility, mortality rate, life expectancy. You compared that variable to the variable that you chose, which would be GDP, HIV, broadband users, income per person. Whatever the variable you chose was, you want to be on the sheet where you graph those two together and found the correlation. And we're doing the global first. Okay, so no more formulas for this one. All we're doing is copying and pasting and making a few more charts. Okay, so first thing you want to do is highlight your old data. So at the top of your sheet where you have your population and your GDP, we want to highlight these two rows and just hit Command C. And then go to the bottom and paste it. I think it's just best to honestly always right click and paste special and do values. You never know, and it's better to be safe rather than just pasting it and not thinking about it and then having something get messed up. Okay, so this was my old data. We aren't worried about the year, so just copy your population and your variable, and then go down to your predictions. Your predictions should also be on this page as well, because we had to use this chart here to get our variable prediction. Okay, so hopefully you don't have to go to another sheet to get your predictions, because otherwise it will make it a little more difficult. But first I'm going to highlight my linear predictions, and you don't worry about the years. You have to highlight it the way I am, where you actually select it and drag. You can't just click the numbers on the outside there. Okay, drag it to the end, Command C, then go to the end of your data, and again, right click, paste special, values. With this one, you absolutely have to do the paste special. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is just highlight these two rows, go up to scatter plot, select mark scatter, and there you go. Now we just need to switch a few labels and change the title. So my x-axis is population. The first row that you selected is what the x-axis corresponds to. Your y-axis corresponds to the second row that you selected. So my y-axis is GDP. And this is global correlation of population versus GDP. And this was my linear projections. So make sure you label that part as well so you know it's linear and not the exponential. Then we want to add the trend line, so you right click, add trend line, display equation, display our squared value, make sure linear is selected, click OK. We don't need to forecast or anything like that for this chart. I'm going to go up there and label it that is linear as well. Okay, repeat these same steps except now with the exponential. So go up to the top, highlight your old data, copy it, go to the bottom, paste, all right, select your exponential data this time, and then copy that, go to where you pasted the new or the old numbers again, and add this on to the end. We wanted to paste special. Okay, and then highlight these two rows, scatter plot, mark scatter, and there's your new correlation. Add your labels. Remember, the x-axis corresponds to your first row, and the y-axis corresponds to your second row. Change the title. And make sure to label this as exponential projections. And then add your trend line. Linear again. And display our squared value and equation. And you can see now if we compare our correlations, my exponential projections are saying the correlation is 0.99, the linear is 0.992, and so it's actually a little lower than it is with the exponential. So my exponential predictions are going to be more accurate compared to my linear predictions. Okay? So now all you have to do is go to your case study correlation, and I chose Cuba to do my projections with. So what I'm going to do is highlight Cuba's data, copy it, paste special. Then I'm going to go to my linear predictions and highlight those. Go to the end of my data, right click, paste special. Highlight these two rows. Same thing, mark scatter, add your labels, right click, add trend line, equation, our squared value. Change your title. Remember, your x-axis corresponds to the first row, y is the second row, and you always want the x-axis to be like your population one, at least for most of you. Okay, same thing, except now copy and paste, and then copy your exponential predictions and then do the same thing. Marked scatter, add trend line, and display our squared value. Okay, so that's everything. Once you're done with that, you just need to paste the new graphs into your PowerPoint that you used for the correlation presentation, and you're all done.